I received this iPhone 17 Pro 1 week and 3 days ago as of recording this video. I will now explain how it has been. It's just equipment outside I have no control over and I apologize for. So far, using this iPhone 17 Pro has been nearly flawless, as this iPhone fixed an issue I had with my previous iPhone 14 Pro when I lost the ability to skip tracks via Siri and CarPlay. The only gripe of using this phone is that despite disabling automatic updates on my previous iPhone 14 Pro, this phone did not carry my setting for that and updated to iOS 26.0.1. As you can tell right here, I'm running 26.0.1, which I did not want because I want to keep a phone on iOS 26.0 for years to come for my collection, but, well, I guess 26.0.1 will work. However, this iPhone does not live up to the typical high quality and attractive design standards that Apple is famous for. Firstly, this camera bump is so ugly and could have been just a solid black bar, but instead has this giant ass on the back. Secondly, this iPhone is the first iPhone since the first iPhone to not offer a black or dark gray finish, which significantly hinders my ability to match the colors on all my Apple devices, as I explain more in a video that I'll link up here. On the flip side, this iPhone does offer 3 colors that do look attractive when brand new, especially if you protect them. Although this back, two-tone back, is still very ugly. However, this iPhone's two-tone design on the back is not only ugly, but it switched to aluminum rather than titanium on the iPhone 16 Pro. It includes a very low-quality paint. This is leading to average metallic objects like keys and coins scratching this iPhone's camera bump area, and low-quality paint job is also causing some orange iPhone 17 Pros to turn pink this quickly. That is insanely low quality for an Apple device. They got a price hike, mind you, given that my Apple Touch 5th generation blue paint didn't fade until 2020, when it was 8 years old instead of 1 month. I know I've heard of Apple Cheat commenting on how the iPhone 17 Pro switch to aluminum will permit for better thermal conductivity. However, this is resulting in heat being expelled onto the aluminum housing itself. Now, it's really only noticeable when you're doing really intense tasks, like when I was getting all my data set up on this phone, but still, it's noticeable. Therefore, heat is getting outside and onto my hands instead of in my phone, which isn't necessarily better, especially given that most users didn't experience issues with their iPhones overheating. I mean, I had more issues with my iPhone 8 Plus overheating, which had an aluminum housing compared to my iPhone 14 Pro and 11 Pro Max before that. Furthermore, phone collectors 2 decades from now will likely have to deal with exploding vapor chambers like on water-cooled Power Mac G5s, because liquid cooling in this phone will likely leak after a decade and a half, and it will be similar to nickel metal hydride batteries on electronics that use them. Furthermore, I also know that people will comment that Apple had to switch to aluminum because it's cheaper than titanium and because Apple has to pay tariffs. However, Apple is exempt from US tariffs on goods produced in China, so this is clearly Apple exploiting customers due to confusion regarding tariffs. In short, do I advise purchasing an iPhone 17 Pro? If your iPhone's less than 2 years old, I advise not upgrading to a 17 Pro, and even if you need a new phone, I recommend that most users buy an iPhone 16e instead, because it has literally everything you want for most people. However, if you need a new phone, require Pro exclusive features like I do, like, for example, the 3 camera lenses, because I record most of my YouTube videos with this phone, which this camera does is really good, by the way, then I do advise buying an iPhone 17 Pro. But do you have an iPhone 17 Pro or want one? Please comment that down below. As always, thank you all for tuning into this video. I'm the iTunes family. Peace out.